Hello! It is Friday morning, 12:14 a.m., and I am submitting my last assignment for this class ever. And then I graduate in less than 14 hours. So I'm pretty excited. I want to talk about what I've learned in this class, which is a lot, but I have narrowed it down to two different types of relationships that I want to focus on, and um, two different concepts that really help to shape these relationships and make them good relationships. One thing that I have learned in this class is that there is such a thing as a good relationship. When you asked that question at the beginning of the semester, I was skeptical of there being anything good, that there could be a good relationship. I was under the impression that because of the fall, because there's sin in the world, it is impossible for there to be good. But that idea has been challenged, and I guess I've changed my mind a little bit about that. So now what I see is that even though there is sin in the world, even though there is evil because of the fall of humanity, God's redemption in the story, that it is because of God that we can have good relationships. And they're not going to be perfect relationships. So you have a single mom who is taking care of her kids on her own, and the father is not even in the picture. That's not the original plan, but God's redemption allows that to still be a good relationship between the mother and her children. And so that's one idea that has really, I've been challenged by this semester. And here's another idea that all relationships are unique. Each relationship type is unique. So you have your workplace relationships, you have your family relationships, your friendships, and then your romantic relationships. And each of these are uniquely distinct from one another. And that helps in how they can go south, how they can turn sour, but also how they can be good relationships. I guess, for an example, if I treated my mom the way that I treat my roommates, that relationship would not go very well, because my mom is not my friend. My mom is my mom, and I need to approach each relationship in a manner that is unique to that relationship. And so that is what I'm going to talk a little bit more about in this video. So first of all, we have this thing called the identity management theory, and it's something that we've talked about this entire semester. It's by Irving Goffman, and we can find it in John Stewart's textbook, Bridges Not Walls. And so this identity management theory is made up of 4 different characteristics that he believes assemble the identity of a person. So identities are multidimensional and changeable. They are an enactment of responses to the environment. They are developed in past and present relationships, and they are avowed and ascribed, which means that they are shaped by what other people say about us and then what we say about ourselves. So this theory plays into family relationships especially. I see this in my own family and then in research done, that families, this environment that we grow up in, regardless of what the family looks like, is going to shape your identity, who you are becoming, and like that first characteristic, that we are changeable, so we are not stagnant creatures. So however we grow up isn't what we have to be, but it definitely plays into who we are. Who we are. So just a couple of thoughts. Oh. Sorry, my computer froze, so I don't know how much time just lapsed. I'll see if I can edit it. So parents play a transformative role in who their children could become, which means a good relationship between a parent and a child looks like parent nurturing, disciplining, and really developing a relationship with the children. And this is fulfilling that second and third characteristics of the theory. So that enactment of responses to the environment. What does your environment look like growing up? What does your environment look like in your household? And then your past relationships. So what does your relationship look like with your father, or your mother, or your brother or sister? Because all of this is going to help shape who you are as a person. And this is important because parents need to see that their children are being shaped by the environment that they are in at home, but also by their environment at school. And you see in Proverbs 22:6, it says, "Train up your child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And this isn't guaranteeing that a son or daughter will listen and obey every single rule or every single piece of advice that a parent gives to them. But think of it this way. You teach your child to save money because it's a responsible thing, and just in case of emergencies, it's a great idea. When that child becomes an adult, there may be times where they're going to run into an emergency and they haven't had money saved. Does that mean that they're teaching, that they just forgot about the teaching, or that they don't realize that's good teaching? No, they may just not be listening to it, or that they may not be listening to it. But it's still important for the parents to teach that. And so training your child in the way they should go, helping to form their identity. So we, in the book Radical Discipleship, I think it's by Schultz, he says Christians are called to be fundamentally different communicators who are less prone than non-Christians to thoughtless conformity and self-serving symbolic action. Parents have this role, or have this duty, this responsibility to train their children, to help guide them, and they are responsible. They have to answer to God for their actions as parents, and so everything that they do, it can't be thoughtless. Thoughtless conformity. That's we have to be careful about that as believers. I know I'm rambling. Let's go to my next piece of research. It's from the Contemporary School of Psychology. So this is going along the lines of families having a unique role in affecting their members' identity formations. This research study said that it appears that families with a maladaptive functioning pattern, so something that is less than adequate, it doesn't work, that families with a maladaptive functioning pattern tend to experience problems in effective response, solving effective issues, effective association, behavior control, and behavioral management. And this matters because critical identity formation occurs during the transition from child to adult. So how the parents respond to this transformation can drastically affect the adolescent's identity and relationship to the parent. So, all right. The next section